What's up, guys? This is Michael with On the Offside, and today I'm here with Colby and Matt. Again, we don't have Derek with us today, but we did go solo last week, so we'll see if we can top that for you this week. Kind of be getting into it a little bit today on a recap from this past weekend. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Anything from the UT game, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard some of the news on that. UK getting beat by Georgia. Iowa going down, number 2 team in the nation. And then we'll also get into some upcoming games this weekend. We got UT playing Bama this weekend, so that's going to be interesting with us. But and just several things like that we're going to talk about on this podcast, so make sure to stick around and listen to it. Jump right into it. First thing, guys, I hate to be the one that has to announce this, but ETSU is now 6-0. And I did not even expect that to be the game that they were going to lose, honestly. I mean, maybe I just don't know enough about it, but looking at Chattanooga, kind of their record and everything, I know they had a close game with Kentucky, but other than that, did not see that coming. I don't know much how that game really went. I just happened to catch the score on that. So I was actually sitting there thinking about it Saturday night, I forgot about it, and I was like, I got to check and see. And so, unfortunately, but hey, 6-1 at this point in the season.
We'll take
Still
that.
go Bucks. We'll take that. Not what I expected anyway. So that was kind of a downer for the weekend. But we're going to kind of go ahead and jump into the UT game. Do a little recap on that. I'm just going to start with, man, I hate the way it had to go because I feel like it's going to take so much away from the game that UT played, first off. Honestly, kind of surprised with the defense. Even though they were giving up a lot, they did buckle down sometimes and hold them to give us a chance. I hate to see – I don't even know the status still on Hendon Hooker. Last I'd heard it was day-to-day, but, just trying to make the winning drive. I feel like he gave everything he had. I would have really liked to have seen him in there till the very end. Not trying to knock on Joe Milton, but I'm still can't figure out what was going on that last play. I mean, it's you have no more time. You have to throw it in the end zone, even if it's not open. It gets picked. You have to throw it in the zone at that point just to see what happens. I mean, I don't know. They did say stop throwing, so maybe he was just, the fans weren't allowed to throw things anymore. Maybe he thought that meant him, so I don't know. But not to make a lot of the fans throwing stuff, but who throws a mustard bottle?
Yeah, really.
And a golf ball. But that's besides the point. But what a wild finish. I mean, did you guys get to watch that? I know Derek was at the game. I wish he was here to talk about it because he was actually at the game. Well, since he's not here to defend himself, we're just going to go ahead and say that he was the one who threw the mustard bottle onto the field.
I think he was.
You guys agree? I think it might have been him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Himself.
I caught the end of the game. I didn't watch the whole thing because Bama was playing at the same time. But as far as Milton, as time expired, running out of bounds, like, come on, man, that's the equivalent of like having a Hail Mary shot and just taking a knee. He ran out when no time was left on the clock. Like, what do you expect to happen? But and then the fans with the throwing trash. I mean, come on, Tennessee, be better than that. I know you're not better than that, but be better than that. Yeah. And Ole Miss fans, first of all, shut up because you're trash as well. But I mean, Tennessee, you're littering your own field. You literally are assaulting the opposing head coach, and I know he's a jerk. I know that. Yeah, he's an idiot. He's a moron. Lane Kiffin's worst enemy is Lane Kiffin after Nick Saban. But just you got to be better than that as a fan base. And yes, it's a select portion of a large population of fans, but you still don't want to see that. And like you said, Michael, it just kind of tainted the whole game. Tennessee played a solid game. They hung in there in a game they were supposed to lose by probably, a few scores. They held a really good offense to only 31 points, which only 31, but I thought Ole Miss would hang 50 on them. So, but nobody remembers that. All they remember is, hey, a French's bottle was sitting on the field and, a Pro V1 got thrown at Lane Kiffin. So, yeah.
We'll talk to Derek about that and tell him that he's not supposed to do that. So.
Hey, but
I do got one more thing. Go ahead, Colby. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, and just regarding the game itself, UT played a game. Corral, though, that was tough to watch. Like, as a UT fan, it was third down and long or third and mid all game long, and then you knew it was going to happen. He's not even known for that. I mean, really. But, that was allow him to just hang like 31 is awesome. That's a success. But, that's how they got beat. A quarterback run all over you. That was tough to see.
Yeah, I think I even actually texted you guys something about that. I was like, oh, third and forever. Let's let this guy just run across the field. So, but one thing I have too about the fans throwing stuff that I was getting really frustrated with is, not only the bad look and everything, and we'll get into the call too. That wasn't a first down. We'll see what you all think, but say that's what it was over, right? They're mad about. It's a combo of things. They're mad about the call on the field. Seemed like the game was about over, and then they're mad, about Lane Kiffin, which I get it. I don't like Lane Kiffin either, but my thing is the game was not – we had 3 timeouts left, and clearly it showed we had a chance to win the game again after that. So that was my thing. Like, let's get back to the game. At one point, I'm like, are they going to call this game? Which I guess they couldn't do that, but it was just – I don't know. That was just uncalled for. But going back, talking football, we'll throw that one on out, and it's what happened. But talking football, do you guys think that was a first down? And I'm going to try not to be biased on a Tennessee point, but there was one point it looked an awful lot like he got the arm stretched out at the same time that his leg went down. It's close, so I don't know that you could overturn it, though. But I do want to know why I heard that the back judge, the ref running down the field, who was 20 yards from the play, made the call as well. So can you see that if you're him? You know what I mean? So I don't know. What did you guys think? First down or no? Whether it was like to be overturned or not, after you were just looking at it, first down or no?
I thought it was a first down. I did. I one of those angles, you just had the arm stretched out before the leg, like you said. I'm trying not to show any bias, but I felt like it was. And you're right about the back judge. How in the world does he call that?
Yeah, disclaimer for me, I really haven't seen as much of that play as I should, because most of what I saw in the post-game recap was about the trash. It wasn't about the actual call. Kind of another thing why you shouldn't litter the field. So I don't feel I'm the most qualified. The angles I saw, I can understand why they upheld the ruling on the field. As far as who makes that call on the field, that's a whole nother matter. But the angle I saw, there wasn't enough for me to overturn it. So, take that for what it's worth.
Yep. So, overall, as far as Tennessee fans, minus everything that happened that was outside of football, as far as the actual football game, I think you got to, you can't put your heads down on that game. It was a good game. Just the concerns of injury really is my biggest concern. Not so much of just I really wish we could have got a win out of that one, obviously, with the games we have coming up. But, I'll still take a close game. It was a good game. Neyland was packed. It was nice to see that atmosphere back. So we'll kind of get moving on there a little bit on the recap of the weekend. Matt, Alabama, I know you was watching that game during that time. Looks like for the score I've seen, I didn't get to see the game, but Bama come back mad, and they did what they needed to do, and that's the story.
Yeah, and since I missed last week, I'll go ahead and make a little bit of a public statement. Bama lost to A&M, unranked A&M. First time a Saban assistant has beaten Saban. In some ways, it might be good that streak's over because it's not in the back of everyone's mind now. I do think A&M deserves to be a ranked team. But fact is, Alabama looked lethargic. A&M did not. A&M came out firing on all cylinders, had a great first half, deserved the win. Props to them. They got it. Bama is still in control of their own destiny. All they have to do is win out, go to the SEC title game, hopefully win that. And then they've got a good shot at making the playoffs, especially with Iowa's big loss. As far as Mississippi State, it's a Mississippi State team that beat Texas A&M. And then Alabama comes out and beats Mississippi State 49-9.
Yeah.
So that part of it is just kind of frustrating because I know Bama definitely had potential to beat A&M, should have beat A&M. It's water under the bridge, but Bama bounced back. Defense looked sharp. They were able to convert third downs and get off the field on third down. And kind of like you guys were talking about with Tennessee, man, in the NCAA, the name of the game is third downs. If you can get off the field on third downs, you will win football games. If you can convert third downs, especially third and manageable, you will win football games. And it's been frustrating to not see Bama do that, but against Mississippi State, they did. So,
yeah, one Bryce Young is that dude. I mean, I know it's a Mississippi State defense, but I mean, if he keeps up, Heisman for sure. I'm serious. I think I've said it in a couple other podcasts. I feel like he might be the best one yet from Bama. I mean, he's just nasty. I feel like he's got it all. And he's only going to get better. But, I mean, that was my big takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I mean, what else can you really say about that one? So, kind of what we expected, honestly. So, going on to another game there. So, Georgia beat Kentucky, and I'm going to be honest, it was exactly what I expected. Kentucky's offense couldn't handle Georgia's defense. Not many offenses can so far. Obviously, nobody's proven it yet. But so as much as I want to thrash Kentucky, and I still will, so because that's what I'm going to do. But they did show a better game than I would have thought throughout, and there were a couple of questionable calls, but that didn't change the outcome of the game. You were a team that got beat by a better team. That's plain and simple. Kentucky's not going to win a championship this year. They're not going to make the playoffs. Going to have a good season. I mean, they already have. They have a lot to be happy about if you're a Kentucky fan, and they're going to probably go on to a bowl game or a good bowl game, and have a successful season. But you call it what it is. Kentucky got beat by the better team handily, and we're never really. I mean, early in the game we're in it, but it got away from them, and that's just what happened. And I'm not surprised one bit, not at all. So, yeah, Kentucky. There's my take.
That Georgia defense, I can't wait to see Bama play the second time. I feel like that's going to be the only see that they went out and handled business, just like you said. They did.
Yeah, man. Michael, you really hit it home there. Georgia just came out and they said we're the better team. We got 7 big uglies on defense, and they're going to slap you in the face and take your lunch money. That's exactly what they did. Kentucky's a good team this year. They've had a really good year for their program. They're probably going to finish second in the East, nothing to sneeze at. But Georgia's the better team. It's a different level of play right now. There's not many people that Georgia's not going to absolutely just punch in the mouth. So props to Kentucky for hanging in that game as much as they could. Props to Georgia for being consistent thus far this year. And that's what sets them apart as number one right now. Bama's a good team. Bama has potential to beat any team in college football. Bama has not been as consistent as Georgia. Georgia's come out every week and played amazing defense. Offense has sputtered a little bit. But, man, if you're giving up 7 points a game, that doesn't really matter. So Georgia's consistency right now is what is setting them apart as the number one. Again, I think Bama can beat them. if Bama brings their A game and if Bama plays consistent. But right now they're not doing that, so they're going to have to do that.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on that. And getting into another top 10 team that lost on this one, Iowa, number 2, falls to Purdue. Big time, too. Wasn't even close. So is it a, Big Ten? See, Iowa's a Big Ten, right? Yeah. So showing a little bit of the weakness there. Also, the only thing is it kind of opens up, I think Ohio State's going to sneak in there. As bad as I hate to say it, Derek called that earlier, thinking he might be right on that. But really the major take I want to take on this is Purdue's Twitter account's pretty legit.
Yeah, they are.
Tell me you guys seen the tweet.
Yeah, that was great.
Beat the number
Tweet
2 out of them.
Sports account.
That's great. So, and they did. So they absolutely beat the number 2 out of them on that. So that was the thing. It kind of surprised me that Iowa lost the way they did, though. I didn't expect that. But another upset for the weekend there. I added more to the chaos this weekend. And why it's on my mind before you guys mentioned on that too, and I just thought about it when we were talking about the Kentucky game. One thing I did forget to mention on the Tennessee game that I really wanted to mention was how many cramps can you actually get in 40-degree weather or 50-degree or whatever? Well, somebody that literally said it was just trying to throw them some water so they'd stop having so many cramps throughout the game. And I was like, that's fair. Anyway, I just wanted to have that on this podcast, that let it be known. That was what a great way to stop a offense that likes to move pretty quick. If you have a cramp, you might have to take a minute. I'm not saying they all were. I'm not saying – but I have my suspicions that there was a couple fake cramps in there.
That was a lot. That was a lot of cramps.
You've seen a lot of that happening in recent years. Game will be moving fast, and all of a sudden the defensive player collapses. I remember an Auburn player specifically because it was just like a headline for a while, and the video was just absurd. He's just standing there and he just falls back to get the clock to stop. Yeah, and it makes you think, you never want to doubt an injury, obviously. You don't want to brush off injuries. But at what point does the NCAA maybe institute some sort of a runoff for multiple injuries? Something like that to mitigate it. Again, it's walking that fine line because, you have some injuries that are very serious. You don't want a team to be penalized when a guy is unconscious on the field. Right. When a guy's sitting there stretching his calf for 5 minutes, that's something different, though. So.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, well, anyways, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt on the Iowa game. That was just something on my mind I had to have out there before we moved on. But did you guys have anything else on Iowa, or anybody really watch it more so than just seeing that they went down?
No, not really. Really, the big take.
Top 4, I guess, top 5, or however far they drop. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. But Ohio State will find a way to sneak in there now. They'll find a way in the playoff. No doubt.
Yeah, I think so.
Could get interesting. It definitely could get interesting because you've got Georgia. Cincinnati's got kind of cupcake schedule.
Yep.
And then you're going to have, potentially a one-loss Bama. Maybe they beat Georgia, and then you got 2 one-loss SEC teams. Then you got Ohio State and Oklahoma, who, I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this later, but their change at QB, he looked pretty good.
No, he did.
So
I don't think we put that on the agenda, but yeah, that definitely. I think he's going to be the one, which is so crazy that you have a Heisman candidate who doesn't perform like he's supposed to, and then you got a freshman steps up and is going to play lights out. So we'll see how that unfolds for sure. But I think that, do you guys have anything else you want to add in on college football that you just want to throw in there? Just toss it out there, Tennessee fans have been doing that a lot this weekend. So if you got anything you just want to toss out there for us, just
that was just a fun week. That's
yeah.
I mean, Saturday and Sunday was football. Gotta enjoy that. I know.
Yeah, I will say I'm just keeping my mouth shut till after Saturday. I've learned my lesson plenty of times. I'm not going to talk for now. Okay. May the best team win.
There you go. That's safe to say. Going on to the NFL, quick recap. Those Saints had a bye week. Did they win that one, Matt?
Man, Jameis didn't have any picks this week.
Hey.
I just making sure I didn't, if they got hurt in practice, I always consider that a loss, I guess, if you're in the bye week. But no, Saints had a bye week, so not much to really say on that. But let's start out with the Panthers. Derek's not here, but Panthers dropped to 3-3. Matt's ready to tear into them. Hey,
third in the NFC South. Oh my goodness!
Dropping quick, and there's concern. There has to be concern for Panthers fans. They still have a great defense, but Sam Darnold's starting to play like Sam Darnold was at the Jets. And they had that great drive to get to overtime, and then Vikings go to score. But without McCaffrey, without him coming back, Panthers don't have a chance at playoffs. They have to have him. It's not a if, maybe, or we could do this or that. They got to have McCaffrey back, and I'm not even saying it'll happen then, but there's definitely I would be concerned if and I'm sure Derek is. I'm sure he would agree that there's concern. They're dropping 3 losses now, so
yeah,
good game, went overtime.
Yeah.
So
sure. Cousins was, I don't know. Yeah, you guys watch Cousins throughout his career. It's like makes you think he's like a top tier quarterback, and then he just like Baker Mayfields it and just disappears.
Yep.
And he's in that stretch right now where he's here, and he looked dang good Sunday. And Carolina defense is no slouch either. Dalvin Cook coming off injury looked real good. They carries, but they were just clicking on all cylinders. And Panthers offense, too many turnovers. Darnold just really couldn't get the ball down the field that well, and it's a tough loss. They need McCaffrey back. That's their only hope.
Right. Matt, I know you're.
Yeah, I
think
Colby kind of covered it there. They're pretty one-dimensional right now, and that one dimension is looking kind of ugly. Sam Darnold coming back a little bit true to form, and that's tough when you have one of the top 3 backs. Yeah, Derek, top 3, not top 2. Top 3 backs in the NFL, and he's injured. The defense is just playing to cover pass routes right now, and it makes it a lot easier on them. Puts a lot more pressure on Darnold. And yeah, he looked good to start the season, but like we talked about, he's kind of falling down now. That defense is good, but it's not doing everything it needs to do to support Darnold without McCaffrey. So Panthers are a good team. Bucks own the NFC South. Even as a Saints fan, it doesn't matter. Saints, Panthers, doesn't matter who's number 2. Bucks own the NFC South. And honestly, the Rams own the NFC right now. So
yeah.
Well, actually, Cardinals and the Rams own the NFC. I'll say that.
Dude, Cardinals are rough. They're a rough team to face right now. So, getting on into the next recap, I've got one thing. All I got to say. Don't even have to say it. Number 22.
Hey.
Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Absolute animal. Just so I want you to know he was clocked, they said, at 21.9 miles an hour in that big 76-yard touchdown run he had last night. Could you imagine that run at that speed?
I remember, I may have said something about this before. I remember watching Alabama versus Florida back when Amari Cooper played, and they clocked him on a go route where he was wide open, nobody was touching him, and he ran. It was right around like 22 or 23, just for some perspective there. Amari Cooper, wide receiver. You've got Derrick Henry, who's 6'4", 245, 250, running that fast. man, forget stiff arm. I'm not letting him get within an arm's length of me. I'm running the opposite way of him. No way am I getting near that, man. That's a freight train. That is an actual freight train getting ahead of steam and rolling down the field. Nobody's stopping that.
Yeah. He caught another stiff arm. It was a loss on the play, but he did get a lineman on a stiff arm. He trucked the guy. The guy made the tackle, but he paid for it. And then so he did have a couple big ones like that too, those moments. But man, just reflecting on that game, like first off, what a Monday night game.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It comes down the wire. And I can't express probably the win that was for Tennessee right now. Putting them at 4-2. Still really makes me upset about the Jets loss because they should be a 5-1 team right now. But just that type of win with the injuries that they had too. You look at against the injuries they were taking on defense, on an already weak defense, to be able to just hold together. They a bend not break defense is what they're playing. Just don't give up the big play. I mean, it still happens some. It's the Bills. As good as they've looked lately, that's just a massive win for them and the boost on their season. Because luckily for the Titans, we're in arguably the worst division in football right now.
We are.
But that's putting us in the next level above right now. It's a big confidence boost. It was nice to see A.J. Brown finally getting back in the game, heavily involved in the second half, playing like he should. And also, did you all see the catch Julio made bouncing off the guy's helmet, the sideline catch? Just wild concentration, man. And then I got to give the defense that last stop on that fourth and just into the game right there. Not who I would think. I did not expect the defense to end the game. People say the Titans got lucky. People say what they want, but they fought in the game. They hung into the game, and that's just what they do. And when it gets in those late game situations, that is one thing they're good at. If you let the Titans hang around, they come out on top on a lot of. On to you guys if you got anything to say on that. I'm super pumped about that game. If you can't tell, it was an awesome win. Awesome win.
No, it was that was definitely huge. And one of the better games I've watched all year long. Again, biased, but I'm still just a casual football fan. Had to love that. Great seeing Henry do Henry. I mean, it's not a shock anymore. It's not boring, but I mean, what A.J. Brown though come out in the second half like that was huge. He's had a tough year from the start, but watching that second half after the real quiet first half, just come out. I think he had 7 catches, that was massive. And like you said, the bend don't break defense. It saved us. It was a terrifying final drive. Whole time I felt like Allen was going to somehow, but I mean, just huge stop right there on that fourth down. He might have slipped a little, but that was a big stop by the boys right there. Heck of a win. Coming out of that 4-2, gotta be happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It was a huge win for the Titans. It's a great win. Buffalo was my pick to win the Super Bowl, and of course, still might. But that's just a great win for the Titans, especially in light of the Jets' loss. Wins aren't easy to come by in the NFL, and you hate to give up the easy games like playing a New York team. But they came out and they won a game that, frankly, they weren't supposed to. Mm-hmm. And so that's big. Henry did his thing. I think I said it last week. You just got to feed him over and over and over. Eventually, he's going to just demoralize the defense, and that's what he did. May get 2-3 yards of carry early going, but eventually he's going to break one. And when he does, it's a gut punch. He did. A.J. Brown, you guys said, looked good. Julio, that catch was insane. It looks like a circus play every time they get the ball out to him. The dude's a freak. Just overall a great win. Great defensive stand. Meant a lot to the team. Hopefully Titans build off it.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much going to cover it on our recap for this weekend. Got some games to look forward to coming up. Not necessarily, I was looking at the schedule this weekend. It's not necessarily a huge weekend for most people in college football, but for us, we do Alabama versus Tennessee. So you got a little in the group rivalry going here now. So we got the two teams, two college teams here getting ready to go at it. Matt, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I'm also a very realistic person, and Bama's got this game. Bama's got to win. So Tennessee fans, we played great last weekend. Luckily, Matt, it's in Bama, so you don't have to worry about anything getting thrown at you. So there's a plus.
It's true.
But don't be throwing like your water bottles, your beer bottles,
they throw
and
mayo
your
down in Tuscaloosa.
Mustard. Yeah, don't throw it at your TV while you're sitting at home. In this game, Tennessee fans, we're not supposed to win this game. So, and then we're not. I don't think we're going to. There's always hope. I hope that we can. I do think I want to see how like Hendon Hooker is going to be. I do think our offense can move the ball on Bama, but it would take a perfect game for us and Bama to play a bad game for us to have a chance at that, in my opinion. We may be able to hang around. Sometimes we tend to give Bama some issues. We don't expect it. Tennessee, one of those teams. So, but I just hope for a good game that we're competitive. If we can stay in the game for a while, be competitive, even losing it, I'd still be happy with a competitive game. And I hope that everybody stays healthy. Bama included there. I know Tennessee, they lost Waddle to them last year, and that wasn't even a game that mattered for anything at that point. It ended up being a blowout, so you didn't see anybody injured. But I'd say Bama's going to win by 3 touchdowns, but I'm hopeful for a competitive game out of Tennessee for that one. Use some momentum from how you played against Ole Miss. So we'll see. Colby,
I'll let you go, and then I'll close it out.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. I'll let Matt finish. You're right. He should clean up. No, nail on the head, Michael. Tennessee's going to that's all it boils down to. They're going to have to click on every cylinder, offense, defense, special teams, force a turnover here, there, and make a big play. But I don't see it happening. I'm going to say 17. I think they a little bit in the first half, but second half Alabama just kind of runs away with it. They're too tough on offense. And UT's defenses look good here lately. But it's a different animal with Bama. But I'll go ahead and say 17. Bryce Young throws 3 touchdowns, goes over 300. That's just my prediction. But what you got, Matt?
All right. So hear me out here. I'm going to tell you what Tennessee has got to do to make this a game, okay? And this is coming from me because I want with everything in me to say Bama's got this game on lock. Easy game. I want to be a teenager on Fortnite and just type in all chat easy game right here. But I learned my lesson with A&M because A&M was supposed to be an easy game. It was not. It was the big sad, honestly.
Big sad.
So I'm not going to say Bama's guaranteed to win it. Yes, they should win it. They should win by a lot. But like I said earlier, Bama's been inconsistent. Okay, if you're Tennessee, first of all, please, if you love the football program at Tennessee, double team Will Anderson every single offensive play. No, not almost all the offensive plays, every single play. The dude is a freak. I am telling you now, he might actually be the best defensive player that I've seen Saban have. That is extremely high praise. I've seen Donta Hightower, Courtney Upshaw, Jonathan Allen, Quinnen Williams, Marlon Humphrey, Mark Barron. I mean, I could literally name defensive players all over the place. Will Anderson he does not look human out there. He looks like a JV player that's playing with the middle school team because they don't have enough players. So double team him, hold him, do something. Okay, so that's key number one. Key number two, I don't know if Hooker or Milton is supposed to play, but whoever it is, including if it's Milton, they're going to have to air the ball out. You're going to have to shoot downfield. Bama's weakness is in the secondary and passes over the middle, over the linebackers. So that's the key to scoring points against them. Loosen up the linebackers with passes over the middle. And yeah, let Milton throw it 50 yards.
That's scary.
It is scary, but it's Alabama. So it's like, what have you got to lose, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
And if you're Alabama, just take care of the ball. Do not have stupid mistakes. Do not have Bryce Young make a stupid throw that costs 7 points. Give them high percentage passes, establish the run game early, and let Bryce do the thing. The dude, he's had some mistakes. I think he's barely over 19 or 20. He's a really young guy, but he's so poised out there. And yeah, he's had some mistakes. It's his first season as an actual starter. Just give him these high percentage plays and let him do what he needs to do. We saw him last week when Mississippi State kept blitzing. He picked up the blitz and he burned them twice with it for touchdowns. He's a smart kid. He's poised. Let him handle this game, but set him up in a position to do that.
Yeah. I think we all kind of got a similar take on what we feel is going to happen. It's going to be fun, though. It's Bama and Tennessee, so of course there's got to be a little trash talk going to happen throughout. But just as you know, make sure you're talking trash, not throwing it. So again,
that was good.
We'll see how it goes. I'm just, like I said, hoping for a good game. But I don't even think, other than that, I don't think there's hardly a top 10 matchup or anything wild going on Saturday from what I looked at. Do you guys know of any big games, really? I think that's going to be the one we're focused on. We're obviously all probably going to be watching on Saturday is the Tennessee-Bama game. So that'll be the focal point. I do say getting into the NFL, because starting with the Titans again on that one, we got another big game. Titans are playing the Chiefs, which I just won this past weekend, but the Chiefs have looked a little uncharacteristic even in that game, early on. So they are one hope that I have for the Titans. I think create some turnovers. Chiefs have been a little bit more adamant to do that this year. So, if you can create some turnovers there, I definitely think we can move the ball on them. After the Bills had a really good defense. So I think we can obviously move the ball. But if our defense can create some turnovers there, I think we got a legitimate chance of beating Kansas City. I think it's a game that would really help us in the, another AFC game that we need. Kind of help boost that again. If we beat the Bills and the Chiefs, the back-to-back games we got, that's 2 games looking into the early part of the season, looking into thinking, oh, that's probably going to be 2 L's. Like I said, I'm hoping for a good game with the Titans. I think that they might, with having Julio and A.J. Brown getting back involved and the way they maybe run a little momentum off of this, I don't want to say something and it not happen, so I might pull a Matt here and say just let the best team win, because I also know it is still Mahomes out there for Kansas City. But I do think – I'll say this. I do think Titans have a shot at definitely winning this football game.
Yeah. This isn't exactly the same Chiefs team in the last 2 years. And that's not to say they won't go to the Super Bowl and win it, because that won't shock me. But, at the start of the season, they haven't looked great. I think we can make it a game. What scares the crap out of me, though, is our secondary. If you watch that game last night, it was, bare bones defense, in the secondary, or at least DBs.
Yeah. Curious to see how those injuries are for this upcoming game. Yeah.
And I know barely tore his ACL, so I mean he's done. That was sad to see. But so that's the big thing. I mean, having a down secondary Chiefs is a recipe for disaster. So we're just gonna need another game from Henry. 150 plus yards, 2 tutties.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping we can hang around, and make it interesting. If it's a 1-score game, I feel good about it. I gotta side with the Chiefs on this one. Probably a 4-point game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I think either team has the capability to win. Chiefs had a rough start, but we all know what they can do if they get firing on all cylinders. Titans showed this week they can beat your best. I think for the Titans, what I'm looking for them to do is control time of possession. You got a defense that's beat up, and you're going against one of the most lethal offenses that we've seen just in NFL history, quite frankly. So I think Henry's going to be key to this game. He usually is, but you want to be able to run the ball, to control time of possession, and just give your defense some rest there.
Definitely.
I'm looking for Tannehill to step up and play a little better too than what he has lately. Not that he's been terrible, but it's just not been what we've been seeing. That consistency and that no mistakes, that's what we're used to with him, and it's not been like that as much. Yeah. So
good point.
Kind of moving on a little bit. Panthers are playing the Giants. I think it's a good bounce back week for the Panthers. Don't let this one slip up and lose this game. The thing is, it's just so unpredictable for me on this one. I'm going to say the Panthers just because it is the Giants, and Daniel Jones had negative points in fantasy football last weekend. So, so I'm just going to say that it's going to be the Panthers. But sometimes Daniel Jones shows up and plays a good game, and Sam Darnold has proven he can play a bad one. So, but I think that defense from the Panthers are gonna be a little too much, and they're gonna get a bounce back win that they need here to put them at 4-3. So, I'm picking Panthers for sure on this one.
This has potential to be a very ugly game. With the way the Panthers' offense has looked the past couple games, and then you just throw in the Giants, it's going to be an adventure. Yeah. But I don't know. New York team play spoiler again. Misery loves company, but I got to think that Carolina will pull it out. It might not be pretty, but they just got Giants, and the Giants screw up a lot. So I got Carolina by
Yeah, that's fair. I think Carolina's defense wins them this game. Giants offense right now isn't exactly much to write home about. So I think Carolina's defense maybe gets a couple key turnovers. They win this game. If they don't, it's really bad for Carolina. With McCaffrey injured, you really need to secure these wins that you're supposed to get. Especially you drop a couple games here lately, and now you're staring down a 9-8 season, something like that. Third place NFC South. That's not what you want. So you've really got to capitalize on these games you're supposed to win.
Yeah. Getting into, of course, the Saints are back from the bye week. Kind of last game here we'll probably talk about the NFL. So Saints are playing the Seahawks. Right now, Matt, one advantage I see is that Seahawks don't have Russell Wilson, and they've got, his name slipped my mind.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, yes. Geno Smith, and who hasn't played terrible, honestly, for backup that went in. But that's going to be to the Saints' advantage in this game, and I think the Saints are going to pull this one out. And I want to say if it's going to be – it's so hard to tell if it's going to be close or not with the Saints or what they're going to do because they have been inconsistent with things. It's like which Jameis Winston's showing up for this one? Yeah. He's going to be eating W's or you know what I mean? Or we're going to be throwing picks, you know. But I think they'll be in the Seahawks that they're gonna pull this one out. You know, and then I think Jameis Winston's going to have a pretty good game against them coming off the bye week. You know, even though they have the – what's his name says he's the best in football right now. But yeah, I don't think – but he doesn't have an interception in the season at all. So, you know, but probably – and there's my call. He's still not going to have an interception after this weekend. So I'm gonna give your Saints some praise there, Matt. I'm going to take Seahawks this weekend.
Yeah, I feel like in this matchup we could get bad Jameis and it still might be good enough to beat Seattle. This is a pretty depleted lineup. Obviously, having Geno start, and then they don't have a running game. You know, Carson's on the IR. Collins is banged up as well. So, I mean, you got a backup quarterback that's questionable at best and no run game. You know, Saints have a pretty steady defense. And if they can lean on Kamara a little bit in this, I feel like they'll safely have a. You know, honestly, I can see this being a double victory. You know, Kamara having kind of a big.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I was just trying to look up Michael Thomas' timetable to return because I know he was supposed to come back soon after the bye, but I'm not sure how soon. But I'm going to hesitantly say I think the Saints actually win this one pretty easily. I'd say multiple scores. And again, you know, dropping a game to the Giants doesn't look good. So who knows? It's the NFL. You never can predict it. But the Saints are coming off a bye week. They're facing a depleted Seattle team without, you know, one of the best QBs in the NFL. This is their moment to just take a good beat down. So I'm going to say Saints win big. Their defense has been pretty decent overall this year, and I think they'll continue to do that. I'd really like to see Kamara have a good game. It feels like he's having a slower season than he normally does. Again, I think he's having to carry a lot of weight because they haven't been letting Winston throw it as much. And to Winston's credit, he really hasn't had a ton of receiver help. Callaway had a good week a couple weeks ago, but I really think if Michael Thomas comes back healthy, you're going to see this offense just totally shift gears. Yeah. He is such a good piece for this team. Love him or hate him, running slant routes or not, he's a beast of a receiver. And if nothing else, he takes some pressure off of Kamara and lets Kamara hurt him even more. Yeah. So I don't know if he's coming back this week. I haven't really checked on it. But whenever he comes back, look for that offense to just look completely different. Look for Winston to have more confidence. Look for Kamara to start having a lot better numbers.
Yeah. Is that a night? That's a night game. Is it Sunday or Monday? It's Monday night, isn't it? I know when I was looking them up, I knew it was a night game. I just couldn't remember.
Yes, it is. It is Monday night.
Monday night. Okay, I thought it might have been the Monday night football game. But,
that they're throwing Geno in primetime games. you know,
tell me they did not expect Russell Wilson to be on that one.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Land like Pittsburgh and the Seattle, and it's had to be Geno in prime time. That's not good.
Yeah. So getting into this closing part here that we always like to ask, you know, what game we're most looking forward to going into the weekend. I'm curious how Bama and Tennessee is going to go, but if I had to pick the game I'm most looking forward to, I'm going to say Tennessee and Kansas City. See how the Titans do after another, you know, that big win. Hoping for another one, so let's see. But that's going to be my game of the weekend for sure. So,
yeah, it'd be a cop out if I caught you in that one. But so I'm gonna kind of go a different way. I like to see Ravens and Bengals. I know that doesn't sound like a sexy matchup, but that division's it's tough.
The Bengals have been looking good, man. Honestly,
exactly. And Joe Burrow looks like the real deal if he can learn how to get on the ground and just take a slide. Dude's going to get beat to death. But I like both teams. The way in this year, I think that could be a really matchup in a close game.
There really aren't. This is one of those slower weeks for football. We were gifted a couple of weeks in a row where we had some amazing games in both NCAA and NFL. And this is one of those weeks. You look at it in the NCAA, I think Michael said, there's no ranked teams really going against each other. I don't think there's any.
Mm-hmm.
So
those are the surprises weeks, though. Sometimes.
What was that?
Those are the surprise you top weeks sometimes.
That's true. I mean, you could have an unranked team beating Alabama. You could have, and I'm actually going to pick, I think it's a top 10 team versus an unranked team. I'm going to pick Oregon, UCLA.
Okay.
I want to say UCLA pulls the upset.
That might be an upset, honestly, the way Oregon's been playing.
Yeah, Oregon's taken a step back, and UCLA, I mean, I think they can win the game. It's just it's hard. I wouldn't bet on it, but I want to see if they can pull it out. So I'm going to say that's my game to watch this week. But yeah, it's really just a slow week. If you don't have, kind of a rivalry like Bama, Tennessee, there's really not a ton of great football to watch in either league. So
no.
Yeah, it is a slow week. The Jaguars are on a bye week as well, so we're going to have to probably watch out for Urban Meyer. There's nothing on the agenda this weekend, so if I'm Urban Meyer, I'm staying home watching movies with the family this weekend.
Yeah. It'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings or, I don't know, some bar somewhere.
Just going out to the bar to watch the game,
Yeah, you know Urban. You know Urban. The grind don't stop.
Yeah. Hey, babe,
never stop. That's going to be the headline after the weekend. Something's going to happen with Urban Meyer again.
Yeah. When there's a slow week of football, Urban picks it up for us.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but yeah, there's not a lot going on this weekend. But like I said, hopefully it'll surprise us. We'll get some good football games out of it. I'm sure there'll be a few. It always happens. But as far as on paper, it's not looking like a whole lot going on. But hey, it's better than no football. So,
right, exactly right.
Hopefully, too. I don't know I'll have to look and see who ETSU has this weekend. Like to see them bounce back. Or are they on a bye week?
I thought I saw earlier. I thought it was another SoCon game, but I may be wrong.
It's at that point of the year, I think, that they're in some of those conference games. So hoping for bounce back. I hope we can 7-1. Let's keep rolling for a good season for them. But it'd be interesting to see how it goes this weekend and everything. And like I usually say, like, subscribe if you're watching this. Help us out. Keep us. We're enjoying this a lot. It's been a lot of fun. So definitely want to keep it rolling. And I don't really have a big Derek left like some kind of inspirational quote. As Derek says, follow your heart.
That's right.
As long as
follow your heart and make a double heart by double tapping the screen. See,
exactly.
There we go.
That's how you follow your heart. As long as your heart says to like it, then follow your heart.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But thank you all as usual. So see y'all.